Hello everyone, this is part 10 of What If Naruto Failed and Chose a Different Path, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Naruto entered the room first, looking around, not trusting either the elders or his so-called examiner to do things by the book. It was simple as well as nice as rooms went, as it had a chair, a table in front of it, and a wooden clipboard on the table to write down anything considered information during the examination. After looking around, he walked forward into the room, more followed by Hana, who looked at him with disgust that someone like him could be a ninja. She had been told by her parents about the Kyuubi being in the boy, saying the clan's safety as well as interests was higher than the Hokage's law. The technicality allowed her to be told as long as when they broke the third's law it stayed within the clan home. That and among its fellow dog clan members, that is, as that was the only loophole they could think of. Her parents had yet to tell Kiba about the situation with Naruto, but they did not, as Kiba had a tendency to blab just about everything he was told sooner or later without thinking about the consequences. We'll just see how much of the demon fox you really a boy, thought Hana as she shut the door behind and then locking it as so no one would disrupt the examination proceedings. Take off your headband, helmet, what remains of your shirt, and remove your sword while you are at it, said Hana, though she didn't really have to, as Naruto was already doing it before she said anything. I don't suppose you know a good tailor here in the village that does good repair work on tattered and burned clothing such as this, do you? Said Naruto as he had removed his ninja leaf headband, his sword, and his helmet, placing it on the table with his back still to her. Hana for a brief moment did not speak at all, as she was shocked to see hair like his, as it was 3 colors all wrapped up in one. I wouldn't know of any place in particular, as it's common knowledge that you're not exactly welcome in most places, said Hana, stirring away from the Kyuubi, but leaving it to interpretation, as she was sure that Naruto didn't know about the fox. If you're implying about Kyuubi, then I already know about him, so do you, so don't have to try to hide it from me, said Naruto, removing the remains of his black shinobi uniform, placing it with the other 2 items while exposing the upper part of himself to Hana and the muscled body he possessed at his age. Hana was glad she was behind Naruto at the moment, as her face was now heated heavily with a blush at seeing such a physique in front of her. Okay, maybe he's more developed than I gave him credit for, thought Hana as she couldn't help but look at his butt before snapping out of her stupor, no matter how blissful it was. I don't have all day, said Naruto impatiently, as he had sensed she was eye-groping him, much to her delight and his discomfort, as he would have preferred Hinata do it instead of Hana, and then when the 2 were much older. Hana had now come back to reality as she walked up to where Naruto now stood, as she grabbed the clipboard from the table before writing some things down on it. Turn all the way to face me, please, said Hana, trying to sound professional, though another part of her was trying to come out all the same that was by far not. Naruto did as instructed, facing, and she nearly gasped because of it, as she saw young boy, or rather man in her mind, with deep whisker marks on each side of his cheeks. The boy was built in the front as well as the back, if not more, as he was sculpted to the equivalent of a Greek god. His eyes were blue, that held a power in him that was like lightning in him, nearly frying all of her common sense then and there. As you can plainly see, I have nothing to hide, said Naruto calmly, as he noticed the woman seemed to be in her own little world. Hana once more snapped out of her eye-groping out of examination before noticing his right arm was bandaged past the elbow joint. What's this? Said Hana, sounding more and more professional, as human curiosity was a strong antidote to her dog-like emotions. Special chakra storage reserves, lied Naruto, hoping the woman would buy it, as demon foxes were master of lying, as they did it when they had to and had been doing so since they existed. Hana was skeptical of the response as he looked down at the bandages more closely, as they seemed to be containing something rather than storing. However, from the way it was working according to her dog-like senses, it was hard to tell whether or not what the boy said was true or false. She decided that she would go back to it later, knowing she had time to do so, as there was no rush for her to look into it now. She wrote more information down before putting the clipboard down and took out a tape measurer, as she needed to record his boss height, width, etc. Don't think dirty thoughts. He's 12 years old, he's too young for you. That's it, keep thinking that, and, oh my. thought Hana as her fingers touch his left muscled leg while measuring him, making her blush at the slight contact as she felt something that she was certain not his sword, making her regret saying anything earlier to him altogether. Hyuga compound at the moment 1:15 a.m. Neji was tired from today's earlier events as he had been awakened by the scurrying of people throughout the village and his own household. Apparently Uzumaki Naruto was becoming notoriously unpredictable in his actions, as it was rumored he stole a scroll from the Hokage's office. Not only that, but he knocked the man out in a single move that was being declared a forbidden jutsu officially at 2 p.m. today. Not long after, things had calmed down and Neji, strange as it was, at least in his mind, was now being summoned by the Hyuga clan elders, with the exception of his uncle being present for this meeting. "You wish to see me, elders?" said Neji, as he wanted to be as formal and polite as humanly possible, even if he loathed them for what they did to the branch family of the clan. "Yes, Neji, please have a seat as we have some things to discuss," said one of the 12 old-looking elders in the room, each looking just as old as the other. "Yes, it has recently come to our attention that Uzumaki Naruto has returned today after a year-long absence from Konoha. It has also become apparent that the young heiress that is Hyashi's daughter Hinata is infatuated with the boy and is trying to become strong for him," said the elder in the middle. "She will never be strong if that is what you are wondering, as she can never change. She is too weak to be a true heiress and is fated to be as such. It is clear from with her sister Hanabi always winning their sparring matches as it is with mine." "Why are you telling me this anyway?" said Neji, as he could feel there was more to what the elders wanted with him than they let on. "What you are about to learn you must not tell anyone outside of this room, as no one is supposed to know outside the elders and the third Hokage himself. You see, Neji, not long after this year's current Genin exams will be the Chunin exams in about a good 3 to 4 months from now, maybe less. Konoha will be hosting this year for the other shinobi villages, and there is a possibility that your cousin may want to enter with her team to impress the boy. At the same time, your own team as well as your sensei Mato Guy has expressed to the Hokage that he can't wait to enlist you into the Chunin exams this year. Should Hinata enter and you face in the second or third part of the exam in any shape or form, you are to crush her in front of everyone around her. Even the damn boy of a monster she has become close to recently," said the oldest looking elder, who was to the left of the middle seat, as he dare not tell Neji the boy's little secret, as it could alter Neji's perceptions of the boy entirely. "I see you want me to crush her spirit as well as her body to prove that she is not a fitting heiress that her father wants her to be. You know she opposes the cage bird seal, and that if she becomes heiress she will oppose it publicly, with the Hokage supporting her as well as possibly several other clan heads from other parts of Konoha. What do I get out of this in return? You wouldn't be telling me this unless you could give me something in return for doing something so harsh to the main family of the clan," said Neji, as he could read them all too well. "We are willing to let normal Hyuga traditions slip, if you will, for this gesture of your loyalty by, say, removing the seal from your head after the exam," said the elder to the far right, smiling a near toothless smile as most of his teeth left him due to his age or his younger years of combat. Neji was speechless, as he could be finally free from his bondage, and all he had to do was take out his cousin during any part of the exams that it was allowed. "I will say it is a very tempting offer," said Neji, as his shock was clearly there in his voice. "We are also willing to have you take Hyashi's place as clan head when he does, either of natural causes or by fated design," said the elder second to the right, letting the last few words hang there for Neji to understand the meaning behind them. "I see. I will take your offer under advisement, elders, but no, I am highly considering it if all I have to do is crush Hinata." "What of Hanabi?" said Neji, as the afterthought of his uncle's second daughter came into his head. "She will remain a main family member, but will have no standing power with us once we make you clan head. If necessary, we will put her in with the other branch family members to ensure that she doesn't go against us in the future," said the clan elder in the middle, his skeletal hands interlacing each other. "Very well. Considering this, I gladly accept your offer to destroy Hyuga Hinata as well as crush the spirit of the one she admires, that is Uzumaki Naruto," said Neji, getting up from his chair, bowing, and then left the room. "Just like his father," said one of the Hyuga elders, smiling at all of them, knowing they would be the true rulers of the Hyuga clan in no time. Aburame clan home at that current moment. When Aburame Shibi heard knocking at his door, he was surprised that someone would be at his house so early in the morning. He was even more surprised, though didn't show it, that it was none other than Hyuga Hyashi at his door, gracing the bug-using master with his noble presence. Hello Lord Hiashi, to what do I owe the pleasure of this unexpected and somewhat late visit? Said Shibi, gesturing for the man to come into his house, as it would have been rude not to. I came to talk to you about your son in regard to Ella and what in the boy saw when he was at the academy earlier today to one Uzumaki Naruto. I'm sure young Shino has told you what happened, said Hiashi as he noticed the man in front of him stiffen slightly in movement, clearly indicating he did. Yes, the child that is Uzumaki Naruto is not the same as he was a year ago, with his joking smile and pranks that he pulled. Though the pranks were unnecessary, they have given people a few good laughs that are needed in these times, said Shibi, sitting down at a table with Hiashi doing the same. They do certainly laugh, until they find out it's Uzumaki Naruto who is actually making them laugh before they suddenly grow serious again. As for his smile, it's clear that it was a fake one from what I have heard and seen of his past. Shibi nods. Tell me, what did you tell your son about Naruto after today at the academy? Said Hiashi curiously, knowing the man would be straightforward as it was the best and logical choice among friends. From what I learned of today, I had a somewhat difficult time explaining to Shino that Naruto's physical makeup is like us and other clans, unique. I believe I even gave the hinted suggestion that it was a powerful bloodline limit, though whether that was wise or foolish of me I'm still debating, said Shibi as the events in his head of what Shino told him played through his mind once more for the 156th time that night. The boy is smart, Shibi. Much smarter than you think at his age, as he is a lot like you, which in a way is frightening. Sooner or later Shino will find out, and I think it's going to be sooner. The other clans that hate the fox more than loving its hero are getting bolder around Naruto and are trying to find a way to put him off the ninja roster early. I know you and some of the other clan heads like Akamaki and the Naras don't hold a grudge against him. However, the Harunos, the Yamanakas, and Inazukas all hate the boy and are rallying around any, if not all, the supporters for the boy's death, if not for his eternal imprisonment, to get rid of Kyuubi, said Hiashi, who nearly bit his tongue for nearly disclosing the Kyuubi as Slade. The boy's treatment has been illogical and unfair. Your late wife Hitome adored Naruto so much I thought she would have adopted him. It's a shame that never happened, and the fact shortly after a few years she had passed away under mysterious circumstances, said Shibi as he knew the Hiashi would never kill his own wife, and like his wife liked the boy at one point that seemed to come back strangely after all these years. Yes, I just wanted to stop by for that little bit of information, though it was nice to talk to you, Shibi-sama. Thank you for your time, but it is late and I need to rest so I can keep the Hyuga clan strong, said Hiashi as he got up from his chair, bowed, and left without another word, leaving Aberrane Shibi alone in the room thinking of things that needed to be done to help the boy against the internal threat of Kohono. Hokage Tower Examination Room. Before you put on your upper shinobi uniform, I need to take a few pictures of you for the record in this state, said Hana as she was about to finish her examination of Naruto's physical makeup to the limit of her professional ability with a few pictures of the boy. Naruto only nodded once, as he didn't mind, as he was finally free from this part of the examination the old farts in power made him go through. Hana secretly enjoyed taking the pictures of Naruto before the boy could put on his upper uniform again. Though for Hana she wished he wouldn't, as she rather liked him without it, but she figured for the sake of her boss urges and the boy's own modesty it was for the best. At least I can hold on to one and show the other ladies what he looks like, thought Hana as she put all but one of the pictures paperclip onto the clipboard while putting the one in her back pocket for later. I need to put on a black headband around my head under my ninja one someplace private so I can keep the Jaganai restrained. The ninja headband only does so much, thought Naruto as he put his sword in place first, followed by his upper body shinobi uniform, his ninja headband, and then his shinobi helmet covering his hair. Naruto walked over to the door, opened it, and left with Hana behind him. Her face had now become unreadable as they entered the Hokage's office. What did you find, Hana-san? Said the third Hokage, silently praying to every powerful god out there that Naruto would get out of this part alive. After examining one Uzumaki Naruto, I found that he is more physically fit than most kids his age, and while that may be strange in some cases, in this one it's not. In fact, it is my opinion that the tenant inside of him is making him physically fit to be a ninja to make up for the years of abuse he has received over the years. Upon further examination, I found that his hair is no longer completely blonde, but rather an array of orange, black, and blonde in the form of lightning-like streaks. Naruto-san has nothing else that I would consider abnormal, and it is my opinion that he is more fit than most genin, chunin, and even junin ninja within our ranks. In a few more years when he is taller, Uzumaki Naruto will be unmatched by anyone either in or outside of Konoha, said Hana as her eyes couldn't help but look over at Naruto's body one more time before looking straight back at the Hokage, presenting him with the clipboard of what she wrote down. Yes, it appears to be all in order. Thank you, Hana, you may go, said the third Hokage as he now silently thanked the gods that heard him for getting Naruto through the first half unscathed in this development. The elders were silently fuming as they had told the woman to make the report seem as if he was physically unstable and unfit to be a ninja. Apparently from the photographs she had taken were proof of the exact opposite of what they wanted her to say. Now for the mental examination, and I think it should be fine if we did it here, said Goza as he knew Inoki would not fail in his report when finished with his mental examination of the demon boy. Sighs, very well Naruto, please sit down here while Yamanaka you sit in the chair next to him, said Sarutobi, feeling this was going to be the much harder of the two exams that Naruto was going through. Here we go. Don't expect me to go easy on you like the Inuzuka did, brat. I don't know what you did to her to make her like you, but I'm not so easily swayed by your demon charms, said Inoki, who got a growl from Naruto baring his fangs at the man. Like I would swing your way, you idiot, though I'm sure your wife and daughter would love to know that you, said Naruto, smiling while the man was ready to get up off the chair and attack Naruto had the Hokage not interfered. Silence. I want both of you start acting more like ninja instead of squabbling like little children at a playground in a sandbox. Inoki, begin the exam at once, said Sarutobi as he was slowly losing his temper at the two of them. Of course, Lord Hokage. Ninja art, mind transfer jutsu, said Yamanaka Inoki as he entered Naruto's body, leaving his limp in the room with the others. Naruto's mind. Inoki was not afraid of many things as he had been trained by his father and his father's father on mind tolerance to the things they saw when going into a person's head. When the mind entering ninja of a specialist entered Naruto's, however, what he saw astounded him. It was a large, dark, shadowy room like an old crypt, with the room being dank nearly all around him from roof, walls, and the ceiling, as if it was a place for something and not a someone to live in. Beside him on both sides were rows and columns of caskets and coffins. What is this place? Said Inoki, his voice echoing throughout the large room. You like it? It's a place I made just for you before you entered Mindscape so you and I could meet, said Naruto, appearing behind Inoki, nearly making the man jump out of his ninja suit. Why? For what purpose? Said Inoki as he was now fully alert as he should have been from the beginning despite the fact this room was different. Why, to help you, of course. You want to look in my head to see my memories and if my mind is mentally sound. Well, here's the place to start. Memory doors up, said Naruto before fading away, and caskets and coffin lifted themselves up to that of different doors all around Inoki, startling him that the boy had so much control over his own mindscape at his age. The large metal doors around him were ranged in different colors from sky blue, meaning the boy's happiest moments, to the ever creepy, shadowy, and dark-looking doors on the opposite side that told of unhappy ones. The latter of the two appeared to be in the greater majority than the others. Time to get to work, said Inoki, not realizing that a small boy with blonde hair was behind him in one slightly open sky blue doors before the little kid closed it without so much as a small noise. Inoki walked down row upon rows of the doors containing memories from most recent to past experiences. The darker of the doors that were horrible events in the boy's life he found to be slightly disturbing, as he saw that they were chained and locked down or had a row of iron-clad bars vertically coming down, preventing just about anyone from trying to access them. Just what the hell has the kid got behind here that would make him seal up memories with such high security? Thought Inoki as he felt a sudden intense wave of negative energy coming from the door itself. You should not be here, Mr. Ninja. You should leave this place before the bad man comes here, said a little boy's voice coming from right behind Inoki, making the ninja look around started once more. Who are you? Said the Yamanaka clan member as he saw a little kid version Naruto no bigger than a 2, 3, maybe 4 years old. I am this one's childhood innocence. I don't get to come out anymore unless this one is with the special girl he likes. You should go before the big mean man comes through one of the dark doors, said the chibi Naruto before the fully grown ninja. Big mean man. You mean the Kyuubi? Said Inoki worriedly as he didn't want to feel the wrath of the Kyuubi running loose through this kid's head. No, not Kyubi, silly. Something both dark and scary that will try to kill you should you stay too long, said Chibi Naruto, looking around nervously as if feeling something awful was coming. Tell me, how can I open one of these doors here? Said Inoki, pointing to the door next to him that was a shadowy black with chains in an X formation with a lock on the center. Only the big mean man can do that. If he does, it is only in a fight outside to help this one's body win awful fights against bad people. I know. You should try to find Mr. One Eye, said Chibi Naruto, looking suddenly happy again. Mr. One Eye, said Inoki, as he was now skeptical about this whole place, like it was just a ruse to stop him somehow. Yeah, he lives here too, yet is not a part of this one in a natural sense, as he was put in here against his will. He is nice though when he has to be. He is also friends with the big mean man, but keeps him in check to make sure he does good things like I do, said the Chibi Naruto, pointing to a blood-red door with demonic creatures carved into the door and the wall that made Inoki slightly scared out of his mind when he saw it. I see. Well, thank you, said Yamanaka Inoki, only to find that the little kid version of Naruto was gone from his sight, as only a faint giggle that only a kid could produce was heard in the distance. Well, what better way to get information than from the demon himself, thought Inoki as he headed to the door not far from him that Chibi Naruto had pointed to. He was about to pass the last black door on his left when he heard a very loud bang come from the door, making him jump with a start. The banging noise continued and dark demonic noises could be heard from beyond the door as the chains rattled and waned under the beating it was given. I don't like the sound of that, said Inoki as he took off for the door he wanted to go to, originally ignoring the bloodlust-filled screams behind it as well as the blood itself oozing out of the corners of the door, covering the floor in it entirely. The red demonic door was heavy as it was evil looking, as it took all of his ninja physical-like strength to move. Meanwhile, the black door behind him had started to have dents in it, scratches all over it, and was slowly coming off the hinges after the last hit nearly sent it flying off. Come on, you lousy piece of s. Open, thought Inoki, and as he was able to right before the door behind him was knocked away like a paper cup as the beast that was behind it took look at him and charged with all its fury at the ninja. Oh holy crap, yelled Inoki real quick, entering the door and closing it just before the beast could get to him, allowing the ninja to breathe a sigh of relief before venturing to see Kyubi. Meanwhile, the said dark-looking beast that had stopped at the demonic door just smiled at what it did as its mission was accomplished. The mission accomplished, mother. He's on his way to see Slade now, said the young spirit of a dark dragon to his mother of a queen via mental link with her. Good. Your father is most pleased with you, my son. Now be a good little prince and fix the door you broke before coming back to your mother for nourishment. After all, you are still just a youngling as you were just born, said Dragona, smiling in Naruto's arm, knowing that the plan that was created while her host was getting his little physical examination from the dog woman Slade, herself, and Naruto devised a scheme to get this pesky part of the examination over with. Naruto played a chibi version of himself in part 1 while her newly born Prince Dragon scared the crap out of the ninja in part 2. Right now part 2 of 3 was complete and they were on to the final act, with part 3 having the ninja meet with Slade, or Kyubi as the ninja called him. This is going to be so much fun, said Naruto, walking past the dragon who bowed to him before he opened the door easily and entered to see how the final act would play out. Break. Inoki had seen many things in his life while inside a person's mind before. He had done it a lot through his ninja career while on a mission with his partners or extracting info for a Biki when a prisoner was becoming less than forthcoming in speaking normally under the scarred man's normal interrogation tactics. However, when Inoki entered the door that led to Kyubi's prison, he found that the door just didn't exactly lead to the demon's prison. This isn't the way to Kyubi's cell. It is the Kyuubi cell, thought Inoki as he came to that realization when he found himself deep within the room with giant gears, pistons, and other things he had never seen before. What was worse was he couldn't go back where he entered, as the door was no longer there to see, much less try to open. All he could do was move forward, and forward Inoki did till he found himself staring at a metal throne with a shadowy figure sitting in it. Hello Inoki. I have been expecting you for some time. I was beginning to think that one of Naruto's guardians was too much for you. You can't imagine how glad I am to see that you are actually here, said the dark demonic voice coming from the metal throne. Kyubi, said Inoki, frightened by the voice and the sheer calmness it seemed to radiate with all the potency of death in it. Don't call me that. I would prefer you call me another more appropriate name, said the QB as the metal throne turned so the form of QB would face its new guest. What W would that be? Said Anoiki as he really wished he had the power to fight the demon in this mindscape. Call me Slade, said Slade leaning forward from the shadows of his throne laughing at the man's pale-faced expression fill itself with fear, worry, and confusion all mixing with his face. You. It can't be you. I saw you with the Hokage and the demon boy when I went to pick up my daughter. This doesn't make any sense at all, said Anoiki as he was ready to have an ironically as it sounded mental breakdown as all things logical in his mind seemed to shut down. Sighs, again the ignorance and arrogant minds of human beings is most unfortunate in this day and age. I think it's time you hear some things from my point of view though you aren't going to like what you hear, said Slade as he manifested a chair for the man along with one for himself. I guess I have no choice, huh? Said Anoiki slowly sitting down as this was the first time he had ever faltered in a mission. It's either talk to me or meet that big mean shadowy beast of a dragon that nearly got you on the other side of the door you entered to meet me, said Slade calmly making the man pick his poison in terms of possible deaths. I'll go with talking with you, said Anoiki since at least he would have chance to live after this rather than being maimed by something like that beast outside of Slade's cell. Wise choice, said Slade as he started telling him everything about the past from start to finish leaving out Demon World and the Queen Dragon as it was something best kept out of the conversation. Meanwhile Naruto watched from the shadows smiling as the plan had worked without a hitch involved. Maybe now I can get someone else on my side, thought Naruto as he cold sensed the man's hate for him leave when Slade explained the circumstances of why he attacked Konoha involving Orochimaru. Real world 20 minutes later. Everyone in the room was slightly worried that something had gone wrong as it should have been a simple enter, exit, and have Anoiki give his report. That didn't happen for some time and the elders were starting to get nervous that Anoiki had been devoured by the demon and were ready to kill the boy should the need arise. They didn't have to as a now enlightened Anoiki left Naruto's mind and body for his much older one. Wow, that was one hell of a ride, said Anoiki as being in Naruto's mind was one big event after another. You're telling me, said Naruto shaking his head real fast to get the cobwebs out of his head and cracking his N from side to side as he had gone limp in an uncomfortable position that strained his N. Yamanaka, what do you have to report on the boy's mental state, said Goza as he was practically waiting to speak the words that would destroy Uzumaki Naruto. Well, after careful analysis of what I have seen in Naruto's head compared to the past experiences I have had with others, I can strongly say that Uzumaki Naruto has a pretty strong mind. It's very stable and will be able to endure any mental damage inflicted on it whether by being TD or some other means, said Anoiki before bowing his head to the third Hokage and then to Naruto before leaving the room with the stunned elders in shock of this news. If that's the case then I hereby remove the restriction of partaking of any future missions off of Naruto's status as a ninja. Now I think all of us should get some sleep as it is late in the morning and kids like old men need their rest. Come on Naruto, let's go home, said the third Hokage rising up from his chair to leave when the elders blocked their way. Lord Hokage, we must protest the results of the 2 exams. We refuse to believe that the demon did not make an attempt at cheating his way through them, said Goza glaring at the boy who in turn glared back not wanting to hide the fact he despised of the elders anymore. What proof do you have to contradict the examination results? If you have anything that would prove Naruto cheated then please show me. If you do not then get out of my office before I consider you a threat to my life and have Naruto kill you like he did the traitor Mizuki. Said Sarutobi as he was finally losing his patience with the elders while all the while he needed sleep to function for tomorrow's events. The elders were shocked by this information as they had heard that Mizuki was in fact the traitor, but at the same time they didn't know he had been killed by the QB brat. That added to the fact that the boy would kill them at the order of the Hokage gave them all the incentive needed to leave the room nervously walking away from the 2. I guess I should say thanks again old man. So, thanks, said Naruto being his normal self again as it felt could not to be serious like the Uchiha and the Hyugas were all the time. I'll see you later Lord Hokage, I have to get home to get some sleep before I make the teams I set up official for Monday. I'll see you later Naruto, said Iruka as went, poof, out of the room. Well old man, this has been one screwed up day, by hey, it could have been worse. Said Naruto as the 2 headed to the Hokage's mansion both happy that this intense hurdle in Naruto's life was now over. KOHONA. One day later, Uchiha Sasuke was livid as could be from the rumors he had been hearing of this kid who was supposed to be last in everything. This Uzumaki Naruto, who had been up till last year a nobody that would be considered a pebble on the road compared to him. He had everything in the Uchiha district that was his family legacy to him, and he had used it well. From chakra control exercises, to fire jutsus, and his family's taijutsu, Sasuke had it all at his fingertips. However, this Uzumaki Naruto seemed to have a power that far surpassed all of them, making Sasuke extremely jealous of the boy. He has power that I need, and when the moment is right I will take it from him to claim as my own. Only an Uchiha deserves to be strong while all the others remain weak to serve my clan, thought Sasuke as he looked forward to unlocking his bloodline limit to take from Naruto what he should have to K his big brother. As he walked through the streets he ignored the warming smiles and all the loving fangirls watching him with hearts in their eyes. For some strange reason though, he was able to notice sizable chunks of the fangirl populace were not fawning over him like they usually did. Instead they were looking at copies of a picture that was given to them by an anonymous person earlier this morning at the doorsteps. What are they looking at now that they would put their full attention off of me? Whispered Sasuke to himself before find one of the pictures on the ground at his feet, apparently freed from the hands of one of his former fangirls. The Uchiha picked it up and looked at the picture before him, finding it was none other than a one shirtless, muscular, and multicolored covered-haired Uzumaki Naruto. What the hell? Thought Sasuke as he couldn't believe what he saw in the picture was Naruto. During this moment in time Naruto was at Training Field 7 practicing the Earth-style form of jutsus the Hokage gave him. Slade was watching Naruto as he leaned on a nearby tree monitoring the boy's progress. It was meant to further his already impressive arsenal of, as well as balance himself with the jutsus he had of fire, water, and wind. At the moment he was currently working on mastering the Earth Flow River Jutsu meant for short-range offensives to put the enemy off balance. Unfortunately there was also an unexpected increase on his arm and leg weight several hours ago before he went to using the jutsu without mastering his chakra control again. Note to self, practice chakra control first then the jutsu second, thought Naruto as he was so anxious to learn a new jutsu he had ignored the principle of having control. Naruto now wore a basic ninja outfit, seeing as his last uniform was being tended to by the Hokage's personal tailor for repairs. What he had on now was a dark navy blue and baggy with the same shinobi helmet on his head, as he liked to keep his identity a secret from the hate-filled glares of both villagers and ninjas. In fact he was so caught up in practicing that he failed to sense or notice a certain Hyuga girl blushing while admiring his attempts to master the technique behind a tree not far from where Slade was. Like the other girls her age, she had been given a picture of a shirtless Naruto, making the girl blush before fainting on the spot from seeing the picture. Now I have something to hold on to other than my dreams, thought Hinata as she wiped the trickle of blood that found its way down her nose, trying to keep the impure thoughts befitting a girl her age at bay. However, after Hinata recovered she had been and still was horrified to learn that she was not the only girl to see such a picture when she saw a Naruto fangirl organization spring up. Other girls at and around her age were now flocking towards her crush that she saw first. The ever-shy Hyuga girl knew that her inner feelings of jealousy were of course wrong, but if she did not do something first then Naruto would possibly lose interest in her, thus making her alone again. Young love is a mysterious thing, thought Slade as he sensed the girl long before she got near her hiding spot near the tree he was leaning on. Slade decided to create a little demonic intervention on both of the children's behalves as he snapped his fingers slightly when Naruto released another Earth Flow River Jutsu so he would hear it. Instantly a four-tailed fox with black fur appeared to the nine-tailed demon lord's right. Yes, Lord Slade, said the demon fox summons, waiting for orders. There is a girl over there to my left watching the boy who is my vessel. Nudge her into view of Naruto to get his attention on her, said Slade, who got a nod from the fox before moving to carry on his assignment. The fox had moved silently through the forest of the training grounds and headed around Hinata till he was properly behind her. Here goes nothing. Wonder why Slade wants me to do this. Maybe she is going to be Naruto's mate, thought the fox as he snuck up to the Hyuga girl with his four tails while moving at Junin speed, grabbed her before she could squeak and then moved her approximately 10 feet from the left of Naruto. At this point Naruto had done half the hand signs needed for doing the earth jutsu again when a figure came into sudden existence out of the corner of his eye. He was shocked when he saw it was Hinata who, looking from left to right, wondering how she got there just now, not noticing a four-tailed fox, poof, out of existence from where she had been originally hiding. "Hinata-chan, what are you doing here?" said Naruto, surprised as well as curious at her sudden appearance near him, as was obviously Hinata. I wanted to see you again. After what happened with the little incident at the A Academy, I heard the elders put you through some sort of exam. Said Hinata, pressing her index fingers, trying to last at least 5 minutes without fainting around her crush. "Yeah, they did. Not to worry though, as I'm alright as you can see," said Naruto, smiling at her, making the girl blush even further than before, if possible. Just as Hinata was about to say something, an unwanted figure approached the two genin, growling at them like a dog at an intruder or enemy. "Hey you stupid bastard, I want to talk to you," said the boy that was Kiba, as he was angry as he ever had been at anyone before. He had heard what Naruto said to his sister before the examination, but even though Hana had been upset at first after telling her family about the physical examination, one look at the picture of Naruto and she shrugged it off. She just kept saying, "It was worth it," while looking at the picture of Naruto and wiping some drool of her face, making Kiba mad as hell. "Hello dog boy. I see you took a bath today, as you don't smell so bad," said Naruto. That earned him a giggle from Hinata, who couldn't help but do that, as it was true that Kiba did have a bad smell on him more often than people like to breathe with their noses. "What did you do to my sister? She keeps looking at a picture of you shirtless and keeps on blushing every time your name is mentioned," said angry Kiba, now getting right in front of Naruto's masked face, baring his fangs at the demon vessel. Meanwhile, Akamaru looked at Naruto and bowed his head politely, ignoring his owner's mini glare that he was giving for a brief second before returning his gaze back to Naruto. "Don't blame me if she was one who gave me the physical examination, as it wasn't my idea, but rather the elders of the village. Take it up with them if you have some sort of problem with it," said Naruto, whose tone became more serious in his last sentence. Hinata was shocked that it had been a female who performed the physical examination on Naruto last night. She now began to fear that Kiba's sister may have done something that was considered perverted during the examination of Naruto's body. She instantly blushed at those last two words and couldn't help but felt jealousy towards the older woman for doing that to her Naruto, as she wanted to do it herself. "Naruto is mine and I must make them see that, somehow," thought Hinata, as her jealousy-filled anger faded slightly, as she didn't know how to proceed with such a plan. It was all the more reason to make sure Naruto was with her by making a move soon, or else he would be open game with anyone around the group age and then some. "You know what, you are right, I will Naruto, I will take it up with the elders, but not before I shoved my clawed hand through your gut," said Kiba, who faked turning around and tried to hit Naruto with a clawed hand aimed at the boy's stomach. To Hinata's surprise and slightly Kiba's, the attack connected, piercing Naruto's clothing from his stomach to his lower spine. Why didn't he get away? Thought Kiba, as he saw Naruto's passive and unreadable face as if it was nothing to him. Naruto then smirked and then went, poof, making Hinata faint and Kiba fall flat on his face after losing balance. "For someone with heightened senses, you sure do suck, dog boy. Couldn't even see me make a shadow clone before the attack," said Naruto, smiling while walking over to Hinata before picking her up gently in his arms. "Put Hinata down, you jerk, she's mine," said Kiba angrily, as he didn't want anyone else touching Hinata, but him and him only. "I don't see a mark on her that indicates she is yours, Kiba. Nor will there be one if I have anything to say about it," said Naruto right before Hinata came out of her faint episode to realize that Naruto was holding bridal style in his arms, making her blush and nearly faint yet again. Kiba was infuriated at this point as he charged at Naruto with everything he had, despite the fact that Naruto still had Hinata in his arms and that she could be hurt as well. "I'll KO," said Kiba, who was nearly foaming at the mouth before he was knocked down painfully with a solid kick to the back of his head. "The poor fool. He must be the runt of the family. I'll take him back home while you two get more acquainted. Behave while I'm gone," said Slade, picking up Kiba before heading towards the boy's home. Naruto blushed at the implication of what Slade was talking about, as did Hinata, though she already was blushing before Naruto was. The boy went over to the forest trees and set Hinata down gently. "Sorry about all of that, Hinata-chan. Are you all right?" said Naruto, wanting to make sure that the incident didn't affect her at all. "Why yes, Naruto-kun, I'm fine. Aya, why you okay?" said Hinata worriedly, even though she was enjoying herself being close to Naruto. Yeah, don't worry about it. I just used a shadow clone. If you want, I could teach you, said Naruto, reaching out, grasping her hand with his bandaged up right one. That would be great, said Hinata, as she would get to be with Naruto and would be able to learn something at the same time. Naruto showed her the simple hand seals needed to create the shadow clones, though it was harder then, that as using the shadow clone jutsu required a lot of chakra and very good chakra control. Hinata had only one of the two at the moment and was only able to produce one solid clone before she had nearly passed out from using so much chakra to make the first one that went poof seconds later, as it was still slightly unstable. Okay, so maybe shadow clones aren't your thing, Hinata. It doesn't matter, as there are a variety of clone jutsus to work from that don't require so much chakra and are just as good, said Naruto, comforting Hinata, who was depressed that she couldn't do it, though she did enjoy being in Naruto's arms. Hinata, I am here to take you home, as it is time for your daily gentle fist training with both Hanabi and me, said one Hyuga Neji, who scowled at the two as they seemed to be in an affectionate embrace, making him want to K them then and there, but restrained that in more public and legal setting. Coming. Thank you Naruto-kun, I really enjoyed being with you today. Maybe we will be on the same team G-Gen and team on Monday. See you then, said Hinata real quickly before running over to Neji, who scowled at Naruto, who scowled back at the slightly older boy, wishing he wasn't related to Hinata so he could be a new eye hole into the Hyuga. After the two were out of sight, Slade reappeared via Foxfire teleportation jutsu right beside Naruto, looking at the boy's unreadable face. Did you enjoy yourself? Said Slade, hoping to break the ice in this silence that was being generated. Yeah, I did. Till that Neji kid showed up to bring Hinata back home. Why did it take you so long to get back here anyway? Said Naruto suspiciously, as he realized that Slade had taken longer than usual to back to him after dropping off Kiba. I ran into Anko and Kakashi on my way back and they didn't look too happy when they met me after dropping the boy off at his clan house. It may have something to do with the scroll bomb I used on Anko and the destruction of the book Kakashi had, as it was very rare to have in one's possession, said Slade, as he had toyed with them greatly when they tried to hurt him for what he did to them. What happened? Said Naruto curiously, though part of him didn't want to know what it was. Let's just say I left the two in an awkward situation when I knocked them out on a roof somewhere. Come on, let's get something to eat, said Slade, putting a hand on Naruto's shoulder in a comforting rather than commanding gesture. Elsewhere in Konoha, when Kakashi woke up, didn't know whether to believe he was in heaven or in hell at the moment, as he was lying on his side, hand bound behind his back, with his masked face up a woman's skirt, and staring at a pair of white panties with a flower in the center. That was the part he was in heaven about. While the hell part happened to be that the woman's panties that he was looking at were none other than that of Mitarashi Anko. Anko herself was in a similar position herself, with her hands tied behind her back, face near Kakashi's currently unzipped pants, and could see into it, seeing the man's. Well, she didn't want to think about it any further. You so much as think about getting an erection'll make sure what you have down there now becomes a brief memory, said Anko, as she didn't like Kakashi's position near her private area, just like Kakashi did with her, though that may have been debatable, as this was Kakashi after all. Same to you, as I wouldn't want you to try something while we're like this either, said the muffled voice of Kakashi through her skirt, though it wasn't like he going to complain, as he rather liked the view he was getting of Anko's lower area, though if she knew that she would break his end with the pressure of her still usable knees and legs that like his were tied up at the ankle. It was then that the two heard clicking sounds of cameras going off, meaning that there was someone that now had blackmail on both of them. As it was twice before a fox took a picture of this hard to explain position the two Junin were in, but this time it wasn't just one fox and a camera. It was multiple foxes with cameras at different angles that now showed just who the ninjas were in this awkward situation. I hate you, Slade, thought Anko and Kakashi, causing at the same time a certain demon lord somewhere in Konoha to sneeze lightly, knowing that two people were talking about him at the moment. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.